Hey guys, David Guest again. Just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about productivity. In our last conversation, we talked a bit about the idea of doing a time audit and really looking at how you're using your time, because as we are fully aware, time's our most valuable asset. And if you want to change how things are going in your life, one of the very first things to do is to look at where are you using time and where should you be using time. So after we've done an audit of our time, we've identified the things that we should be getting rid of and delegating. How do we then make sure that we're using our time in the right way? So there's a couple of things. First thing I'd ask you to do is, if you Google, or hopefully underneath this video, there's a link to a video by Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where he talks about rocks in a jar. Now, if you've already seen the video, you don't need to watch it again. You need to watch it once. What it shows you is that if you decide to put the big rocks in first, you will fit more in the jar. How does that look in your real world? We use a thing called the Perfect Routine Planner, or the Default Diary, and it's very simple. The idea is that we map out our week. So it looks something like this, okay? And what we do here is we literally identify the time we wake up, the time we go to bed. We divide it by the number of days in our week, and we start to put in what Stephen Covey calls the big rocks. Now, big rocks for me are things that are important but not urgent. Examples of that would be exercise. Examples of that would be, putting our email into blocks. So I'm not checking email every time it comes in. By the way, quick tip, turn off any notifications for emails, turn off any notifications for messaging. Those pop-ups are distractions, right? They are urgent, but they may or may not be important. So put it into blocks so that you're checking it at your own discretion rather than just when it comes in. So this is a template that you can use. There's a download link just underneath this video. You can do this yourself. It really doesn't matter how you do it. The philosophy is the same. On this template, there's a fortnightly version and there's a monthly version for some people who have things that happen in monthly cycles. The philosophy is exactly the same. What we've got here is we've got our time from 6 a.m. in the morning for me, and this goes right through till 8:30 at night, because I generally don't like to plan things beyond that, other than personal stuff. In the morning, I've got a couple of things that I've got in there as routines, right? I do this personally every morning. I get up and I do some meditation. Now, whether you do that or not is up to you, but it's a big rock for me, so it goes in there. The next thing that you'll notice that's in there is that I go running twice a week. I actually go running more than that now, but this is part of my routine. This is an old version of my diary. Everything else in here is blank at the moment, and what I do is I take this diary and I start putting in blocks of time for things that are important for me. An example would be that I now take Friday afternoons off, so I block out Friday afternoons. So every Friday afternoon I just go in here and I literally just go like this and I change the colour of this block, right? Now, if you want to, you can do this your own way, right? But the way I'm doing it here is that is going to be blocked out and changed colour by doing something, I don't know, you work out how you want to do it. I'm not going to do it right now. But you get the idea, right? So you'll end up in this scenario where this diary has lots of different blocks of time. Now, the idea is not to create a diary that you follow every day. It's about working out what the perfect week would look like. Now, one of the things, or a couple of elements that I'm going to suggest you put in there. The first one is that if you have regular cadence of meetings, so it could be meeting with coaches, or it could be meeting with your team, or it could be meeting with your partner, put those in there, right? If they're weekly, fortnightly, monthly, put them in there. I used to have date night in there every Thursday night to make sure it would happen. Then what I would do is I would also include my Monday morning kickoff meeting for the week. So every Monday, we actually do this right now. Every Monday, first thing, we have a 1-hour meeting internally. So we set our week. We also do our training every Friday morning. So every Friday morning, I have a 2-hour block where all of our coaches get together and we actually talk about, progression of our coaching skills. So you start filling in your default diary or your perfect routine planner with how you want your perfect week to look. Now, a couple of caveats on this. As you grow as a person, as your business grows, you will need to review this. So you create one and you use it for a few months as a default, which means when nothing else is interrupting your day, you go and do your routines. In 3 months' time, you review it and say, is this working for me? The things I want to see in there as big rocks are, as an example, working on my business time. So time to read books, time to actually sit down and work on strategy. Now, I have a tenet that if I'm working in a business, I need to work on it for at least 10% of my week, which is 4 hours, right? So every week there has to be a minimum of 4 hours working on your business. Now, what does that look like? That could be reading time, going to attending events, writing strategy documents, literally just walking around the park and thinking about what the next stage of my business is going to look like. It doesn't matter which one of those it is, as long as it happens every single week. Meetings are things that are probably more urgent and important because they're operational, so I make sure they're in there. If I have client meetings, I tend to try and block my client time into 2 or 3 days a week. So my coaching sessions are usually on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and that way I know that if I have a new client, I try and push them into those days. Now, it's called the default diary for a reason, or the perfect planner. It just means that that's the way I'd like it to be in the perfect world. Now, if someone can't make it on a Tuesday for 1 week, I'm happy to move them to Monday or Friday. But when we go into routine, I'd like them to be on the days that I choose, not the days they choose. So what I need you to do is grab that template or have a go at this yourself. Create your first draft of what your perfect week needs to look like. Now, the assumption of the perfect week is everything goes as you anticipate it to go. And you've got blocks in there for the things you know you should be doing, but sometimes you never get around to. Once you have this document, it doesn't become something you follow every single day. It becomes your perfect picture that you use to gravitate towards. And this will start freeing up some of that time in your week. Because remember one thing, time is fixed. We all get the same amount of it. So when people say, I wish I had 2 more hours in my day, the truth of the matter is you don't get 2 more hours in your day unless you release something, okay? So getting 2 more hours in your day is about, well, where is the spaces that I can put the more valuable activities in? And that's where we use this perfect routine or default diary planner to actually start becoming more productive. So have a go at putting this planner together. It'll help you identify how to get more time out of your week, and it'll put you into a cycle of routine, which will make sure that you're getting more productivity on a day-by-day basis. Cheers, guys.